Hello everybody, Joel Bernier here, Equestrian Marschal. I'm happy to introduce you to a traditional method. Equestrian Marschal is an army trade, an old army trade, maybe 400 or 500 years old. We work a lot with the acupressure point. We work also a lot with motion, muscle tension, and also balance. Counterbalance as well, which is very important in most of the horse trade around the horse, which is shoeing, saddle fitting, bit fitting, even harnessing, collar. Everything around the horse is very important to understand 5-point reflexology, because the hoof is like 5 fingers when it touches the ground. Same effect. Let's say you divided the hoof in 5 points, like you will see in some pictures later on after the video. And it reflects all the way in the neck and the pelvis area. So I'll be glad to explain you all this. I grew up on the farm. My grandfather was Equestrian Marshal. He had a farm as well. He was I would say kind of a traditional blacksmith mostly, but he had the knowledge from the army cavalry that he learned from Arthur Laprise, his old mentor. And after going out west, buying horses for the rebuilding project of rebuilding Europe after World War II, he acquired more, I would say, knowledge, more detail. Because when he was working in the log camp, after he bought the horses, made by 1,000 horses at a time, bring them back east of Canada and spread them out in the log camp. So he was choosing one of the camp and working on the horses, taking care of them. And even today, some old folks who's in their 90s still remember him working in the camp. And he saw his knowledge, his work through my work, which is great. Even some my customer saw Arthur's work in my work, which is great. The transmission from one to another. We also, like I say, I started very young, like just looking at him sitting on the porch of the doorstep of the blacksmith shop and having his horse also, like the wooden horse, the seat to fix up harness, sewing leather. And I learned a lot. He taught me a lot. He spent time and time answering my million questions. Always be there to answer, be there for me to help me out, give me tricks and tips. So I'm going to try to give you some today. When I grew up on the farm as well. My father didn't have much patience for horses, even if he was very good at it. We had a pig barn, sows, 100 sows. He was a pioneer to get the industrial pig barn, I would say. And we had all the farm in grain, so it was also a grain farm as well to supply for the pigs. We do our own mechanic, our own welding. So I'm learned many trades about that. We always had horses in the family because my oldest brother had horses as well, starting with ponies and stuff. So we kept the trade in the family. We also, if you look at the pictures, the introduction pictures, you will see a picture of my grandfather. So is the farm he has. The old black and white picture is the farm that he built himself. He built the barn, the house, the little shed behind the house, and the front was the blacksmith shop in front of the barn, which I friendly call Bernier University. This is where I've learned most of my trade. Lots of flowers in my grandmother's garden, lots of veggies too, and sometimes we let the horse run away in my grandma's garden. We never put him in the garden. He just kept by the side door, so we get away with it. I did a few conferences, clinic. I like to do some workshop with the Down syndrome kids. Teach them understanding the senses, the heat, the feeling when hammering steel, the sound of it, the color of it. It's my great hobby and passion too. So today we're going to talk about making the horse comfortable. And also I'm going to try to make you understand the 5-point reflexology, counterbalance. I will get back to this all the way along this video, because it is the basic of any horsemanship. Any discipline you do, it's all get back to those. Meridian, everything, etc. You're also going to see a clinic that I'm long time ago, 2001, with poster behind. It was a clinic for the Quebec Fair Association. Tried to solve a few problems and help them out the best I could as well. And also, personally, it all started on my own with when I won my whole girl, Sally. She was 4 years old back then. She was born in 1990. She gave me 9 babies, and she was a war horse. Great horse, great teacher for the other horses. She was the leader in the herd. She was Mrs. Discipline, of course, very strict, and don't mix the English riding command to a Western command. She will let you know that she's not happy with that, and mind your own business and do know what you're doing. Yes, she was a good teacher too. Also, I started to buy my tools to shoe my horse, my Sally. Then in a trail ride, Sunday Route Trail, a public trail ride, I decided to have the terrain was rough, so I decided to shoe my horse, trim and shoe my horse, my Sally, to protect her, at least the front hooves. Well, of course, like every places, everybody has to put a shoe back on or tied up the shoe or to do resets. And this is how my career started, my new career. Because my trade, personal trade, is general machinist, general welder. My passion was airplane, so all about balance, flying, weight transfer on the plane, same basic as for her horse. When you trim a horse also, as a Sohonix mechanic, camber caster, toe in, toe out, it's exactly like a car, same basic. So we have to be careful with this. If you have one shoe off, one trimming, one hoof off, will affect the entire body of the horse. So, welcome to the video, and enjoy. I will make commentary as well as the video goes down. So here is I'm trimming Whiskey. Remy is the new owner of Whiskey. He bought it about a month ago. Now if you look at the windows on the right bottom corner, we clean up the hoof and we'll trim. We'll pull the shoe off. He had front shoes on. And if you see the front, the outside of the hoof wall is thicker than the inside. It's because he had more pressure on the inside wall. So the last farrier who trimmed the horse, he trimmed the inside wall a little shorter, and he kept growing this way. He carried more weight than inside wall, so the outside grow faster, higher, and also thicker, more blood circulation. So we going to try to readjust that, and you will see later on video as well when we trod the horse. He tried to dig his hoof, he shoveled also well. You see the gravel, the sand from the arena flies away when he put his hoof down. After the trimming, we still have problem with the back hoof because we couldn't trim only so much, but the front hoof would only touch the ground flat, which you keep neutral. Now as you saw my hand, I was touching the muscle in the neck, it was very stiff. So we're gonna have to bring this muscle soft, supple, so we have free motion from the shoulder blade, the scapula. Extended gait, more comfortable for the horse, more comfortable for the rider. You will see the thickness. See with my nippers on the window again. I trim it. It's just nothing fancy. I'm just a simple whole horseman, Equestrian Marschal. And it's not always perfect like you see in most videos. Sometimes we have some action. Sometimes the horse behaves very well. Sometimes the horse is comfortable. If the horse is too discomfortable or uncomfortable, we have some hard time. We have to take a break. We have to give a horse a break, massage the shoulder. And we have to work with the horse, not against you. And of course, the more comfortable is the horse, more patient he is, no anxiety. So safer the horse here. We got to bring the horse comfortable, very comfortable, so we have a safe horse. As you see now, I trimmed some thickness on the outside of the hoof wall. If you look at the window again, and I tried to bring the thickness evenly on both sides. So next time, now because we are the fall season and it's getting cold, I'm going to bring the hoof wall the same thickness on both sides, both heels, I would say also, quarter. And you will see it's going to grow up straight, it's going to worn out straight, because now it can worn out evenly on both sides. It doesn't have more pressure on the inside than the outside like it used to. It'll be the same. And as you see, I always keep the whole trimming to compare from side to side, front to toe. If you visit my website, My Horse, My Teammate, you will see some of those that I trimmed before, and that will help you to understand. After the video, you will see some pictures with the colored dot on the hoof. We haven't put them right now, but you will see we put some dots, colored dots, on the shoulder and the neck and the pelvis, so it's on the hooves. And the color on the hoof will match the color in the neck. Right now, see, we have the picture here on the window again. It was kind of a free take because the camera was on my head. I didn't exactly know what we would take for pictures. So we did okay. As you see, I trim more on the outside of the hoof wall than the inside to make it more even, readjust it. You also will see the coronet band, the hairline, matching the radius of the hooves, and it should match. If you don't match, then we have a problem. As you see, there's not much flare on the outside, a little more, but not that much. So going to be for the next trim. As you see, we did the back also, the right side also. Now we look at the neck, more soft, more comfortable. Now we'll do the back. Fortunately, even if it was cold, we have some flies. But Whiskey is doing very great, very patient, good working horse. If you notice also, is breathing. It's hard to see in the picture, but the belly get rounder, deeper breath. Slow breath, very deep. So now it can relax in oxygen, get a lot of oxygen in his blood, which will help him to perform better. And you will see on the back hooves, it's hard to see unfortunately, because the camera is not quite great on the left window, upper window. But you will see, there we go. We're going to trim some sole. I'm going to trim more toe than heel. So I'm going to try to bring him more comfortable. Because he didn't have rear shoe and he has a little high heel, so sore frog, dry frog, crack deep, and he started to walk tiptoe, and by walking tiptoe, pulling his heel up, creates stiffness in the neck. So now cut the heel down, the front end down, it's more comfortable. Now he can back up his rear hoof straight with the hip joint. Now it's a little further, as you see. He rests himself because now the front end is comfortable. All the shoulders, so everything relaxed and comfortable. So now he carry more weight there to relax his rear hooves. As you see, it's going to be a little comfortable. I'll pull it away a bit. Then I just wait a bit, grab it, and it'll be more giving to me. Going to help me out, feel more comfortable, so it will give it to me better. Now as you see, I'm going to try to trim so little we can do on the hoof wall. We trim basically nothing on the inside heel, mostly on the outside. And if you look at the window also, the picture, we can see right there that we almost twice as thick as the outside as it is on the inside. So now I put him down a bit, give him a little break to relax, because it's very hard and stifle, very hard and arc when you unbalance like this. And we will see, I will take him again. This is the flare that I took off, that I trim. You see the other trim from the front hooves on the window, there on the ground. And we see how we put the heel evenly on the left hoof that I just trimmed. Now, you stand way further back, more square, more straight, more relaxed. And you will see his tail, you sweep the flies differently, more comfortable. The belly get rounder, deeper breath. The back straight up. Is not switched back as it was, and pelvis straight up too, because the horse will try to make both muscle each side of the bone of the legs evenly, same tension. So if he has no heel, he's going to stand further underneath to reestablish the strength, stiffness on both sides of the muscle on both sides, pulling and pushing, standing up. and the pelvis will follow underneath. So we're now we're getting a bit, but it'll be more comfortable. As you see, he got distance between his rear hooves now. The hog is not cocked as he was, and both heels touch the ground evenly. So that'll make the entire body more comfortable, more relaxed. Here's the 5-point reflexology. You will see the color of the dot on the hooves correspond to the dot in the neck and the pelvis. So the inside heel is red. If you look at the bottom picture, the dot is right down on the big neck, on the big muscle there. So this is the flexibility of the neck. You will see later on video, he turned his head with the bridle. When the Remy is on his back, he turned his head right square, almost 360 degrees to look at him. And the same thing for the pelvis. The inside heel are too low compared to the outside. If you look at the crouper, you will see the red dot. If both sides are like this, then you have a hard time with the mare, mostly the mare. She will have a hard time to give birth. So the counterbalance, which is, if you look at the visible horse, it's like the legs on the right side, underneath a lot. Sometimes we see all 4 legs like this, something like this. Very hard on the horse. Switchback, cinchy, birthing problem. Baby won't flip over before the birth, so you got to seat first. Stomach ulcer, colic tie up. It's all related to the counterbalance, the rear trim. Heaves, little heaves, what do you call it? Hard time to breathe. It is related to the rear hooves as well, rear trims. So we have to be careful with this. Make sure when we trim the horse, the rear hooves are straight with the hip joint in the pelvis. Also, there's no sign of uncomfort for the front hooves. That's why when we trim the heel down, we trim the frog a bit so the horse could relax his shoulder and carry more weight on it more naturally. So all those points, it's the reflexology, what you see, the dot on the horse, on the neck and the pelvis of the horse. It is, let's say, a reference to see if your horse is well trimmed or not. That tells me the coffin bone in the hoof, the position, how it is, parallel to the ground, or toe in, toe out, inside, outside, too much way lower, higher, inside, outside. Now, as you see, before and after, if you look at the belly, it's a little harder and stiffer. If you look at the picture after, more calm, more quiet. The bottom picture, he doesn't dig his hoof. The top picture, he dig his hoof. He did dig his hoof. So it's more comfortable in the bottom picture. If you look at the visible horse again, now we're on the other side, the right side, we can see this is counterbalance. If you see the shoulder blade has scapula, they have a different angle on both sides. And if you look at counterbalance on the right side, high heel on the front hooves, low heel on the back hooves, right side as well. So it is important to balance that. Keep an eye on this. The hoof itself might look balanced, but if the coffin bone is not parallel to the ground, then you're going to create muscle stress problem, hop around the spine. I've even seen some vertebrae offset. I've seen very hard time with the neck offset as well, due to the trimming. So it's important to keep all that balance. Okay, here's the video. Look at him walking. One side has a hard time, doesn't want to trot. On the right video, he does trot easier. See, cross the legs, now the back legs on the right video. On the other video, he has a hard time. On the left video. See how he's walking on the left video. You can see the dirt. It dig his hooves more. The front, it barely does. Doesn't dig his hooves. Work properly, better way. Even if it wobble a bit with his front hooves, more practice will bring him straight. Now, lunging the horse. If you look at the horse hopper video on the left side, you'll see he shovel with his rear hooves, the gravel flies away, and the front hoof too. When he dig, he move the gravel away, flies away as well. So it is make the horse very hard because it kick back on the shoulder what the old timer used to say, the whip. It whip back on the shoulder, whip back on the hock. It's more dangerous. I see you got a hard time. He doesn't want to trot much because he was a little stiff on the first picture. Bottom picture on the right side, he gave it to me, nice and smooth trot, extended trot too. As you see, more motion on the shoulder, more rotation on the pelvis. As you see, more calm, more quiet on the bottom video, and he stand more square. Now for the saddle, as you see, some hair on the sweat pad. I'll just basically talk about it. That will tell you if your saddle fit or not. If you look at the dirt on the sweat pad, that will reveal the pressure point from the saddle to the back of the horse, and that will tell you if it fits well or not. So if you change failures, you're going to see the point will change. The hairline, everything going to change on the sweat pad. If they went to the same school, same references, no differences. Now if you see, we put the saddle, Whiskey is pay good attention, he's relaxed, turn his head a bit, just look at it, his ears are back to listen to us, pay attention to settle up, and you will notice this time, usually it's a little cinchy, you try to, I won't say snip, but show Remy that it's uncomfortable. We back up the saddle behind the scapula, butterfinger, so the back of the saddle tree doesn't pinch the kidney area, the vertebrae around the kidney area. Now we got a flat, larger surface on the back of the horse, more comfortable. As you see, Remy now he back up the saddle at the right spot, according for the advice that I gave him. And we'll make sure well centered. And you will see Whiskey, he stand right square, straight with the hip joint, his rear hooves, rear legs. Front shoulder stand straight. And if you saw, the angle of the pelvis come more flat, horizontal, to the horse body and the ground. And the shoulder get more vertical, more straighter, because he doesn't pull with his front hoof, and he doesn't bring his rear hoof underneath to try to relieve the weight. So it doesn't like falling a seat like a dog, and he doesn't have to pull with his front hooves to stand up. Now he stands square, relaxed. As you see, his belly is round, deep, slow breath. Remy tied up the girth. He doesn't change his breathing, nothing. Nice and comfortable. When you do work with autistic kid or Down syndrome kid, it is very important to make the horse comfortable maximum. And I have a horse who's trained to voice command, because the horse always listen what we say, the tone, the tonality that we use, high pitch, low pitch, deep voice, high voice. Now I got the window again, the bottom, the visible horse again, so that will help you to understand, eliminate the counterbalance, straight with the hip joint and the shoulder. That will help you. What happened inside the horse? I like this little visible horse. It's a little kid's kit that you can buy, assemble yourself. So as you see now, well set up, well saddled up. Now we go with the bridle. Choosing the bridle is very important, because if you have the wrong bit, the mouth is going to be sore, and you will end up, the lymphatic system will be effective to kind of relieve the pain, take the pain away, and unfortunately, at the same time, that affect the vision. The horse is going to see blurry. The eyes, will be not bright as they used to be normally, so they be kind of shade, and it might be anxiety too. It will develop anxiety. So is the hearing. The ears will not understand, will like to hear the high pitch of a voice of a children. The high pitch, very, very sensitive on the horse. Also, the liquid in our ears to the balance of the horse will be affected. So the horse will, this fluid will not be able to read the level of the horse. The horse's brain side won't be able to read the balance. If his head is down, low, or whatever, due to the lymphatic system, so your horse may trip and walk like if he was drunk, so will be dizzy, like a dizzy horse. So be careful when you do bridle fitting. Bit fitting is very important to that. Now, as you see, we're going to put the bit. Actually, his bit, Remy changed his bit because he noticed maybe a little harder on the line, maybe looser on the line, which Remy is always scared to be too hard on the horse. So it's very nice to the horse, take it easy. And see, we have a different bit, and it worked just great. Whiskey didn't show any sign of soreness, so everything is good. Very attentive again, and is, as you see, he hasn't moved his front hooves. Whiskey hasn't moved his front hoof for probably close to 5 minutes. Of course, now he has to back it up, but because of the flies. But see how he stands, right square, comfortable, deep, slow breath. If you look at the buckle of the cinch, the front cinch, it doesn't pinch the artery system behind the legs, who's from the lung. So it'll be more comfortable, more endurance too. If you have a racehorse and that vein behind the elbow, I would say, like the old timer used to call it, your horse is going to get tired very quickly. Mostly if you do racing. If you look at the window, the visible horse, the artery system at the bottom that we see close to the belly, at the bottom line, that affect a lot. Now see the picture, the eyes of Whiskey and the way he stands his head before and after. If you look at his eyes, eyebrows, and the muscle, the ligament over his head, forehead, there's a lot of differences from one to the other. The center picture, Remy was on his back and was looking at Remy a bit, but as you see, his ears are nice and quiet, turn to listen to Remy. The nostril have very normal nose, I would say not oversized, open to breathing. Compare, if you look at the left side, it was under counterbalance a bit, hard time to breathe. If you go center and right, it's more quiet. It can breathe nice, deep, and slowly. So now the saddle fit perfectly, the bridle fit perfectly. On the right side, it was comfortable too, standing on his own. So he's a safe horse. On the right side, as you see, his eyes is look more rough, more, I would say, as much patient as normally he would be. He was on the right side. So that make a big difference on the safety of the horse. If you have an autistic kid around and stuff, the fact that he's comfortable, he can see well, he can feel well, because horses are very telepathic, communicating between each horses and get together. So it's a herd animal, so it will be safer. Okay, here is picture with Whiskey with the headband and the bridle fitting on the side. And if you look his head, he turned it almost 360 degrees. So it's very comfortable, very flexible now. If we would have left the heel, inside heel shoulder, the white dot, it wouldn't be able to do that. It would be very stiff, very hard neck, I would say, and no flexibility at all. And if you look at the bridle, the way it goes on Whiskey's face, and behind the ears and in front, the headband in front of the ears, we look at the book picture. You see all the ligament, the nervous system, and at the bottom, if you look at the visible horse again, we can see some of the artery system. And the jaw and the neck, the vertebrae, the astral bone, the major vertebrae who's attached to the head skull, who's mostly flexible and the most fragile too. So if your bridle put too much pressure there, too heavy bridle or too thin bridle also will affect the astral bone joint and might affect the nervous system on the horse. So that also make a big difference. If your bridle is too tight around the ears, you will probably block the jugular vein, which goes way up to the ears, and going to create problem as well. His brain might not work out properly. He might get mad. He might get dangerous. A horse who got very short ears and narrow ears, you will see it'll be more explosive on a hot summer day. If you look at a parade, do a parade, he become nervous, impatient, and he fatigue quick, and he can't stand the noise. If you have long ears, like a mule, some horses have longer ears, some others, the horse will shake his head and be nice and quiet and relax and wait. Be patient. You will never see a dog with long ears biting at children in winter, when it's cool season. Always in summertime, hot summertime, most of the time it's a dog that have his hair cut short, like Doberman, like Pit Bull. But most of the dogs who have long hair, they are patient hog dogs, more and calm. So this is a little extra to look at it. If you want to have a family horse, make sure you have long ears and froggy eyes. If the forehead is further than the eyes, you will see kind of a bullhead. The horse will be stubborn. If you have froggy eyes, it won't be a war horse, a hard working horse. It will be a family horse. It will be great if you have autistic kids, Down syndrome kids. They will love to go with the family horse, the froggy eyes, because these kind of a horse look everywhere on each side, and they are very patient, long ears mostly, and they love kids. So the more kids you're going to get around them, maybe a few kids on their back too, they will be more receptive, more quiet, safer as well. So thanks for watching, and have fun with your horse, your teammate. A comfortable horse, comfortable horse is a safe horse. As I always said to all my customers, that's what I said in everybody that can talk about a horse. So enjoy. Thank you. Have a great day. And don't forget to visit myhorsemyteammate.com, my website. Bye.